no, this is dull. Let's take a look at the first Hydron among the worst 4-person Havrishan in Team 1, Park 18. Heidern from Team 1, Park 18 is named using the first letters of Brian, Rugal, and Shingo. Even in 98, where Ichigoku has become a fixed pick, users choose various characters, but it's very rare for anyone to pick Havrishan. Actually, unless you're a user who really mains Havrushin, just picking these characters itself is basically the same as taunting or trolling from the character select screen. Let's analyze Hydron from King of Fighters 98. First, let's review his basic moves individually. Overall, Hydron's basic moves have long startup and recovery times. However, this doesn't mean his damage matches Jiangguan's. This is Hydron's Crouching A basic move that can be considered his combo starter. You can see that these normal-sized characters get hit cleanly without any issues. But if this Crouching A were perfect, I wouldn't be introducing it, right? Characters with short crouching heights, like Choi Bengai or Chin, can't be hit at all. And even if Choi Bengai is standing, he still doesn't get hit by Crouching A at point-blank range. Fortunately, if there's just a little distance, it does hit. Next is Crouching B. Crouching low kick is used here. Most characters can combo from Crouching B to A, but Hydron can't, making low combos impossible. Against Q and Ryo, Crouching B can forcibly link to C, unlike Hydron. This is a challenging technique, but I included it to compare with Heidern. At the very least, you should be able to poke with Crouching Light Kick, but even that isn't possible. Even with Rapid Fire, it won't combo. At least Far B and C have long reach, so they can be used for zoning, but their low attacks are completely lacking, so they're not that good even in basic footsies. Next, let's take a look at the basic move C, the Heavy Punch. Close C causes pushback on hit, which really helps with hit confirming. However, perhaps due to pushback, its startup speed has been slowed. If you don't hit low enough during a jump attack, Close C won't combo. I'll try raising the hit point of the jump attack. When Heidern tries to activate Close C, Andy has already recovered from the stun. Next, let's see what happens when it hits with a low point. The Close C hits before you can recover from stun. Even with a good reverse guard, if the hit point isn't low, it just becomes a single attack. Next, let's take a look at the basic D Heavy Kick attack. I didn't enter another command. Pressing D just triggers a slow motion. If your opponent is skilled at punishing, you'll get hit with a full combo when using this basic move. Heidern used the same heavy normal first, but of course Heidern loses. That's why, in fact, Heidern's Far Heavy Kick is a basic move that absolutely has to be shared. Unless you use it by mistake while attempting another move, there's likely no reason to use it. Next is the Close D, a basic move with a flaw, but only against Choi Bounge. It can hit like this, but at very close range it won't. Next is Shermie's attack. The motion itself looks the coolest among all the characters, but on the other hand, its performance is the worst. Since the hitbox is too high, if the opponent crouches, you can't make them guard. Since 2D games are based on crouch guarding, there's almost no chance of getting hit by that. It's sometimes used as an anti-air to throw off opponents, but you still need to fully predict their actions for it to work. It's easier to just think of it as an anti-air for entertainment purposes. If you guard cancel attack while your opponent crouches, Heidern is left totally defenseless. So even if you want to escape, Heidern's guard cancel is officially recognized. Because you can get hit by a low combo like this in return. But Heidern's guard cancel attack has one good aspect. It performs well in aerial battles and gives you an advantage. you in the next video. This only works in aerial battles. If your opponent doesn't jump, it doesn't matter. Next is Heidern's signature move, Stonebringer. It's also known as Hoopyol. This command grab is unique because it's also a rapid tap technique. Basically, when you land this move, you have to tap faster than your opponent to deal more damage. Since this move drains your opponent's health and restores your own, the reward is pretty big if you pull it off. If your opponent taps faster, this move is useless. As you can see, Terry quickly gets back to training. Another drawback is the command grab has a very short effective hit range. Let's compare it to Goro and Yashiro, key command grab characters. Even from a considerable distance, you can see Terry getting pulled in. You could say it's because he's a true boss character from 98, but other characters can grab from this distance too. Now let's check Awakened Yashiro's grab range. Like Heidern, he can grab easily without overlapping the opponent's character. Turn. You have to get this close to land the Stonebringer. Stonebringer has a flaw in its reach and another flaw too. Even though it's a slow grab, not a one-frame grab, it has almost no invincibility frames. They used it together, but Andy's strong attack lands first. Let's review Goro's invincibility frames. Let's watch it in slow motion. Even though Parry's counterattack animation came out, Goro still grabs him. Next is the Cross Cutter, similar to King Tornado Fist, but with a weaker hitbox. Even though it's a King Tornado Fist, you won't get hit even if the graphics overlap when you jump over it. Next, if you know this projectile's performance, don't be intimidated. It overlaps quite a bit with the tongue, but you can see that it doesn't hit. Another drawback is its lower hitbox is weak, unlike the King's projectile. If a character with a short crouching height like Choi Byung-gai sits down like this, you can't even make them guard. The projectile graphic overlaps Byung-gai's head, but it doesn't hit. Just like with Choi Byung-gai, if Chin sits down, you can't even make him guard. Even if the graphics overlap, you can see that it doesn't hit. It's passing by, overlapping with Chin's head. Even if the crouching height isn't short, characters with low crouching basic move animations can also dodge it. Athena overlaps too, but avoids it by crouching. Jasei Pyo can dodge it with his crouch, and Lee Hyori with her crouching light kick. Also, simply dashing with Leona or Chris, who have short dashes, lets you dodge it. Next is Moon Slasher. It looks like an anti-air move, so I used it as one too, but that was our mistake. This move lacks invincibility frames, so using it as an anti-air often results in getting hit. Damn it. Well, unless you really read your opponent, it's better not to use it. Next is neck rolling, also known as the heli envelope. Usually, it's such a lousy technique that it's only used when you're toying with your opponent. That's because while you're floating in the air like that, there's no way you can't guard. And since the damage is low even when it works, it's high risk, low return. If you fail, you must take a full combo like this. Next is the counter skill, Killing Bringer. The motion looks cool, but they chose style over performance. If you succeed in the counter, you can also recover health through the association. As I mentioned before, it shows a strong and unique performance. Find out more. Even if you take a counterattack motion, there are many cases where you still lose to basic moves. Its performance is poor, and the flower beds are empty. Just calmly think of this move as if it doesn't exist and play the game. Next is Hydron's vampiric ultimate move, Final Bringer. Since you have to fly in and land a hit like a leg roll attack, it's risky. However, there's a technique that can turn this high-risk, low-return move into a high-return one. It's the Moon Slasher Punch Bug that has been used since 94 and 95. It became a technique in '98, but honestly, it's a bit tricky. First, use the punch instead of Moon Slasher, and Heidern must avoid getting hit. It's fine to hit with basic moves, but using a special move always resets it. When all these conditions are met, the damage of the vampiric technique increases significantly. Since it's so hard to achieve in a match, isn't it basically a technique that doesn't actually exist? This is Hydron's second ultimate, Hydron End. Using it raw is hard to land unless your opponent gets hit on purpose. That's why it's only used to finish combos. But this technique has another flaw. If your opponent has a small crouching hitbox and is crouch blocking, the special move will whiff and only the high D will leave you vulnerable. That's all I have prepared for today. Let me summarize everything overall. The character's abilities need more countermeasures, but even the current ones are weak. Since there are no low combos, there are very few ways to shake up the opponent. Since he's a waiting soldier like Gayul, his move timing is easy for opponents to predict. Ciri's attack is so powerful that escaping is nearly impossible. That's all, this has been Dadal. Following Heidern, Brian Rugel's report is also scheduled, so please wait for it. If you enjoyed the video, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment.